Like the zombies in the game, the Resident Evil franchise is practically immortal, even if the story sometimes stumbles here and there. We're digging in to chronologically decipher the whole story thus far. Get ready to enter the survival horror. This is Resident Evil from start to finish. There's something shady happening in the Arklay Mountains outside of Raccoon City. The Bravo team of Raccoon City's Police Special Tactics and Rescue Service, or STARS if you're nasty, is investigating when their helicopter crashes. That's when Officer Rebecca Chambers discovers a stationary train that had been attacked by leeches that transmitted a transformative T-virus to the passengers, turning them into zombified monsters.
Prisoner Billy Cohen, ex-lieutenant, 26 years old. Court-martialed and sentenced to death July 22nd.
Escaped convict/wrongfully committed Marine/token brooding beefcake Billy Cohen is also on the train, which they both become trapped on as it starts moving again. Diverting the out-of-control train, they find themselves in an abandoned facility that is also crawling with mutated insects, apes, and a sizable bat. They discover that the facility is the birthplace of the T-virus. The Umbrella Pharmaceutical Corporation wanted to make a bioweapon by combining the progenitor virus with leech DNA. Assassinated scientist and aspiring Final Fantasy cosplayer James Marcus has been resurrected. Kinda. His infected Queen Leech took his form and memories, carrying out her dead master's vendetta against Umbrella and leading him, or her, to attack the train.
I live. Now I will have my revenge on Umbrella, and the world will burn in an inferno of hate!
Rebecca finds out that the rest of her team is investigating a nearby mansion. But first, she and Billy have to take down the Queen Leech. Upon escape, Rebecca goes to meet up with her team, and Billy has his freedom. After all,
Officially, Lieutenant Billy Cohen is dead.
Yeah, I'm just a zombie now.
the day after the helicopter crash, the STARS Alpha team is searching for the Bravo team when they're attacked by mutated dogs. The helicopter takes off without them, so they take refuge in a local mansion, which turns out to be filled with more monsters. The gang splits up, and Jill Valentine, or Chris Redfield, discovers that there are tons of booby traps and puzzles among the terrors in the mansion, which is actually another testing facility for Umbrella. Creatures, human and animal, that are exposed to the T-virus have mutated.
There are outlandish reports of families being attacked by a group of about 10 people. Victims were apparently eaten.
In an underground lab beneath the mansion, the players discover that it was their teammate Albert Wesker who had been working for the unscrupulous Umbrella all along. But wait, another squad mate, lovable bearded Barry, has also betrayed the player. But only because the dastardly Wesker has his family held hostage. Wesker is working on unleashing the super soldier tyrant, this pleasant fella. Barry manages to snipe Wesker, but the monster is unleashed. Meeting up with the rest of the STARS, the player fills them in and hits a convenient self-destruct button. Depending on which of the 4 endings the player gets, the tyrant either escapes or is blown to smithereens. Resident Evil 2 is set 2 months after the STARS team had their adventure in the Arklay Mountains. The ultra-infectious mutagenic T-virus was released into the water supply of Raccoon City, transforming the population into nightmarish zombies. The game has 2 main characters, which creates 2 plotlines, that of Leon S. Kennedy and that of Claire Redfield. Leon is on his very first day of his job as a rookie cop. Claire is a capable college student in search of her older brother Chris, who, as it turns out, isn't in the city at all. Claire finds a lost little girl named Sherry Birkin, who is being pursued by a monster. Leon, meanwhile, finds Ada Wong, who is looking for her boyfriend, an Umbrella researcher. It turns out that the police chief had been in Umbrella's pocket and had helped conceal their research into the new G-virus, which turns people into bioweapons. He tries to kill Claire, but she and Sherry escape into the sewers. There, they become separated, and Sherry loses her golden pendant, which Ada finds later. Leon discovers Ada in the sewers. She's not into teaming up, but Leon is willing to take a bullet for her, which he does. The woman who shot Leon is Annette Birkin, Sherry's mother and wife of William Birkin, creator of the G-virus. He had injected himself with it to save himself after being double-crossed by Umbrella, turning himself into a horrible creature that pursues his daughter. Annette falls off a railing in a scuffle with Ada over Sherry's pendant, which contains a sample of the virus. Ada, less steely than she seems, helps to nurse Leon after saving her life.
This bullet wound isn't making things any easier.
Quiet, Leon. I'll patch you up.
Claire and Sherry find out that Sherry's ethically questionable father, the monster known as G, wants to implant a G-virus embryo in her. which he does as they try to escape in yet another underground Umbrella facility. However, Annette tells Claire with her dying breath that a vaccine can be made after she also spills the beans. Ada is a spy sent to steal the G-Virus. Ada, wounded from a fight with Mr. X, saves Leon from the Tyrant, but she appears to bite it in the meantime. Leon, Claire, and Sherry live on to, you guessed it, smack that self-destruct button and blow up a train that G has taken over. Sherry is orphaned but cured. Claire is still on the hunt for her brother, and Leon now has his own grudge against Umbrella, who managed to get their hands on the G-Virus after all. Ada's story isn't over either. She still has the pendant with the G-Virus sample. Taking place the day before the events of Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3 sees Jill Valentine caught in the middle of Raccoon City. Before she can make it back to the police department, she runs into a whole new breed of creature that makes zombies look wimpy: Nemesis. This undead walking tank was formulated to seek and destroy the STARS members who witnessed Umbrella's sins. Also dodging the T-Virus fiends are 3 members of the Umbrella Biohazard Countermeasure Service, or UBCS, who are trying to escape the city via helicopter. If they ring the bell in the town's bell tower, rescuers will be summoned. In the journey there, one member of UBCS disappears, the other dies, and Jill is infected with the T-Virus by Nemesis. The final member, Carlos Oliveira, manages to find a cure after Jill has been unconscious for 3 days. Back in action, she discovers that the UBCS member who disappeared, Nikolai, was an Umbrella agent all along. Notice a pattern forming? Carlos reveals even more pressing news. The US government is ready to nuke Raccoon City to prevent the spread of the virus. To make matters worse, Nemesis is still on their tail, uglier than ever after a bath in bio-waste disposal chemicals. The endings vary, but Nemesis is defeated via overkill with a railgun, and Nikolai tries to waylay the protagonist, but they escape via helicopter just before Raccoon City goes boom. Remember Claire? She's still determined to find her brother Chris Redfield. In 2000's Resident Evil Code Veronica, she is captured by Umbrella in Paris and taken to an island prison. Naturally, there is a T-Virus outbreak, so she and fellow escapee/resident Leonardo DiCaprio impersonator Steve Burnside try to flee the island and the evil commander Alfred, who sometimes believes himself to be his twin sister Alexia.
I am Alfred Ashford, commander of this base.
Alfred switches on their escape plane's autopilot mode, diverting it to an Antarctic Umbrella facility, which has also been overrun with zombies. There he unleashes his sister Alexia, who has been cryogenically frozen 15 years prior after giving herself a dose of the T. Veronica virus. She's super smart, super angry, and basically a supervillain. Chris looks for Claire on the island and runs into none other than Wesker, who is naturally after the T. Veronica virus, this time as a free agent rather than an Umbrella henchman. Separately, they head to Antarctica on their respective missions. Chris saves Claire, but Steve is a gunner. Having been injected with the T. Veronica virus, he tries but fails to kill Claire, maybe because he loves her? At least that's what he confesses with his dying breath after knowing her for, like, literally a hot second.
I'm glad that I met you. I love you.
Anyway, Chris and Claire smack that oh-so-convenient self-destruct button. Chris beats the mutated pulp out of Alexia, Wesker steals Steve's corpse, while Claire and Chris escape the explosion. You know the drill by now. 6 years after Raccoon City, Umbrella has been shut down, and we revisit Leon Kennedy in Resident Evil 4. The president tasks him with finding his daughter Ashley, who has been kidnapped by a cult in rural Spain. After being infected by crazy villagers, Leon is told by Luis Sierra, a researcher, that the cult has utilized a mind-controlling parasite called Las Plagas to take over the locals. When Leon escapes and finds Ashley, he learns that the leader of the cult, Osmond Sadler, injected her with the parasite in order to gain control of the president and take over the world. While evading Sadler, they hide in a castle until the states can send another helicopter after their first was shot down.
We decided to lay low in a castle, but it looks like it was a bad move.
In true Resident Evil form, the castle is filled with monsters, traps, and Ada Wong, who is after another parasite sample for her mysterious employer. Luis brings drugs to suppress the parasite when Leon and Ashley start to feel its effects, but is killed by Sadler.
Just because you killed my small-time subordinate.
Sadler, you're small-time.
After defeating the master of the castle, Leon and Ada have to team up to go to a military research island where Sadler has taken Ashley and the sample Ada is after. Escaping Sadler with some help from Ada, who gets her sample in the end, Leon rescues the girl, kills the villain, and jet skis away as the island inevitably explodes.
Ashley! Ashley! Where are ya?
5 years after the events of Resident Evil 4, we catch up with a swole Chris Redfield in Resident Evil 5. Chris is a member of the Bioterrorism Security Assessment Alliance, BSAA, and he and his partner Sheva are sent to Africa in order to stop the black market sale of a bioweapon. They find locals infected with an altered version of the Plagas parasite and that their team has been killed. The BSAA comes to their rescue, after which Chris happens upon rumors that Jill Valentine is still alive, presumed dead after having taken out the traitorous Wesker 3 years prior. As they resume the mission, Chris is willing to go AWOL to figure out the truth behind Jill. That leads him and Sheva to defeat the would-be weapon dealer and discover the source of the progenitor virus, a flower called Stairway to the Sun. Exploring yet another underground lab, they find out they have been, shocker, double-crossed. Tricell, the company that funds the BSAA, had taken over a defunct Umbrella lab and continued human experimentation, including on Jill, who has been mind-controlled into becoming Wesker's lackey.
Where is this facility? Answer me! What is the Ouroboros project?
BSAA! Wow, you two are just on top of everything, aren't you?
CEO of Tricell, Excella Gion, had been working on plans with Wesker to launch missiles containing the monstrous Ouroboros virus across the globe. Turns out Wesker has been doping up with precise doses of virus, making him super strong and super fast. Jill, oh by the way, Jill's blonde now because reasons, is also pretty much a Super Saiyan. Fortunately, she eventually snaps out of it when Chris yanks the mind control device out of her chest. She fills Sheva in on all of Wesker's kooky virus shenanigans, so she compromises his dose, turning him into a monster that attempts to drag them all, ready for it, into a volcano. Cue the rocket grenade explosion. The sixth installment in the series takes place years later. Wesker is absent, but his son Jake has antibodies fit to make a cure for the new superpowered C virus that threatens the world. Before a vaccine can be made, he and Division of Security Operations agent Sherry Birkin, yes, that's Sherry Birkin, are captured by a woman calling herself Ada Wong. She is the leader of Neo Umbrella, and soundly defeats Chris in the BSAA, leaving him so traumatized that he gets amnesia.
Thanks for the escort. Here's something to remember me by.
Later, as the president tries to reveal the truth about Raccoon City with DSO agents Leon Kennedy in attendance, they are all attacked by bioterrorists. Leon finds the real Ada, and together they pursue the traitorous NSA agent responsible for the attack, Simmons, to China. After some alone time, Chris and partner Piers are out for revenge, but are stopped from attacking Ada by Leon, who directs them to the fake Ada. The real Ada helps Leon to do some serious damage to a mutated Simmons, and Jake and Sherry are rescued by Chris and Piers. Piers makes the ultimate sacrifice and turns himself into a monster with the C virus in order to defeat an even bigger monster and to allow Chris to escape. He destroys the facility, but there's still one final showdown with the fake Ada Wong. Her real name is Carla Radames, and the real Ada puts her big dumb face down for good. Oh, and then she destroys her big dumb lab. You know, for good measure. The franchise finally makes its return to its survival horror roots in 2017's Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. Ethan Winters is looking for his wife Mia, who disappeared 3 years prior. He is led to a dilapidated house in the Louisiana swamp, where his wife has apparently lost her memory and become deranged, just like the rest of the creepy Baker family in the house.
I can hear her. I can feel her clawing her way back inside of me.
Trying to save his wife, he has to dodge the mutated Bakers and creatures made out of mold in order to create a serum to cure Mia. Ethan is nearly killed by the father, Jack Baker. Well, okay, and mother Marguerite, and hell, son Lucas too. But to stop Jack, Ethan uses one of the 2 doses of the serum on him. It's not pretty. This leaves Ethan with a terrible decision: save Mia or Zoe, the eldest Baker sister who had helped him along the way. Whoever the player chooses, they next discover a shipwreck of a tanker. This is a ship that Mia had been working on, escorting a sentient bioweapon named Evelyn. Evelyn wanted a family, and she wanted Mia as a mother, so she infected her and lured Ethan to the Baker house.
Does it want to be my daddy? Then he can die.
Ethan discovers an abandoned salt mine turned lab that the baker's son Lucas had been using to observe and study Evelyn, who can produce psychotropic mold with transformative abilities. Here, Ethan makes a toxin to kill her. Backup comes in the form of the BSAA and Chris Redfield. Yes, that Chris Redfield. And Ethan defeats Evelyn and, depending on players' priorities, is able to save his wife. Resident Evil 7's Not a Hero DLC provides a further perspective on the end of the game, following franchise favorite Chris Redfield as he comes upon the scene of yet another bioweapon gone awry. The Umbrella Corporation has apparently reformed, and the new villain is the Connections who created Evelyn. After sending Ethan to safety, Chris is after evidence, and the last surviving evil baker, Lucas. He is able to defeat him and prevent Lucas from sending information on Evelyn to this shady new organization, but only after making his way through bombs, booby traps, and mold men galore.
Game over.
Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more SVG videos about your favorite stuff are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.